Hey everybody, we're going to talk a little bit about writing standards. I've got a topic guide that you can download, so be sure to stay tuned for that. I think I've got 99 little items that you might want to take a look at when you're writing your writing standards for your company. Okay, so again, first of all, thanks everybody for tuning in and for all the nice comments. I've got a lot of them through a lot of the networks that pick this up, so I appreciate that very much. If you've got any questions, contact me at the email listed below, and I'll try to answer any questions that you may have. Let's talk a little bit about writing. Look, for marketers, there's a lot of issues regarding writing. There's the tone. There's whether or not you use single or plural in the way that you discuss things. Numbers, money signs. How do you put that in there? Do you do 2 decimal points, whatever it may be? Tables. How do you put tables into particular areas? And your punctuation in general. Spelling. For instance, e-commerce. Is e-commerce a small e and a capital C altogether? Is it e dash small c commerce or big C commerce? You got to make some standards in regards to some of that stuff. Are you going to have an active voice or a passive voice? And abbreviations. I mean, there's a whole ton of them out there. So, with that leads to inconsistent copy that you're going to have. Materials are going to look like they came from 3 different companies. If you've got, different marketers working on stuff and they're not all aligned together, it could hurt your SEO as well, depending upon how things kind of get put together. It's a lot of confusion for your customer base. If they're working across a variety of different areas, it's unprofessional and it's sloppy. Let's just be honest. It's not the way that we as marketers should be operating. We should be really tight when it comes to the writing, because that's what people are going to be consuming to purchase or to learn more about our products and services. So some of the experiences that I've had in getting success as it relates to rolling out standards guides, writing standard guides. 1, get input from a variety of different areas of the company, from the C-level all the way down to the bottom level, marketers, product people, et cetera, because all of that will have some type of play within what you're discussing, and you want to get some inputs in regards to that. Not everybody's going to be happy with the way things come out, but as I've said before, if everybody gets 80% of what they want, you've done a pretty damn good job. Okay, so get the input. Number 2, use standards that work for your particular business, okay? That could be, depending upon the size of your business, the product types. Is it a service type that you have, locations across the globe, etc. You've got to pick those that work for you. So don't try to just pick something up that is maybe out in the marketplace and just pick it up and implement it. You've really got to go through and make sure that this is done correctly for your particular business. 3, don't get cute. This isn't a time to be putting in really cool creative words or slang terms. You don't want any of that kind of stuff, right? You want to be clear and communicative in what you're doing, because those types of things, frankly, can be a deterrent to your overall marketing. Now, I'm not saying that you don't use those, right? But don't put them in there as, hey, guess what? To address our customers, call them, hey, dude. I mean, you don't put that kind of stuff in. Let's just be honest, unless you're selling surfboards, okay? Understand how and where your standards are going to be used. Are they going to be used by marketing? Are they going to be used by customer comms? Are they going to be done internally for internal types of messages that go on? What channels are they going to be used in? Is legal going to have to get involved with these and utilize these types of terms as well? Because that can have problems in the way that they actually have to deal with contracts and those types of things. Number 5, make sure you take into consideration franchise owners if you happen to have a business that has franchises. Because, again, you want to make sure that you've thought through that and the implementation of it, as well as the way that things sound within different particular marketplaces itself. Number 6, international implications. You've got to take this into consideration. A lot of Asian languages, English does not translate very well over there. So you need to make sure that, passive, active voice, does that make sense for that particular language across the globe? Number 7, get legal input for legal input. Don't get legal input for them to say, you know what, I'd rather have you go out to 2 decimal points. Why? Because I just want it to go out to 2 decimal points. If there's not a legal basis behind it, don't let legal try to change the guidelines that you're putting in there, unless it just happens to be something that's really smart, and it may very well be. But, let's make sure that it's done the correct way for communicative purposes, okay? 8, training sessions, and training sessions. You've got to have a review. You've got to train everybody, first of all, get them into a room and train them. And that isn't just a 2-hour training session. I recommend that this be a day to 2 days. 1 day of training, the next day of actually writing and actually applying the skills that they learned the day before. Okay. Also have a review period. For a certain time period after that, where somebody can be reviewing what they're doing to make sure that they're making corrections. Again, if you can set the precedence over the first 90 days or so, it'll really help you in those people being able to communicate in the future. You need to have people write actual content when they do go through training. Update and modify, be agile with your requirements, but again, don't change them so dramatically. You want to make sure that they're very consistent, because otherwise you're going to have to go back and change all your content again if you bring in completely new types of content. And that's the other thing. You want to think long term when you're developing these things, okay? Number 9. Again, I think I just mentioned it, update and modify as appropriate to your standards. 10, understand that this is part of your company's overall brand. Okay, it's not just something that kind of sits out there. The language that you use is part of your brand, just like the creative images that you use are part of your brand. So you want to take that into consideration, and you want to treat it very seriously. Okay, everybody, you can subscribe to the video below. There is a link below that you can actually download 99 kind of topic headings that you'd want to take a look at. It doesn't go into any more details other than it kind of lists out, you take a look at abbreviations or whatever it may be. And those come from, some of the companies that I've worked for. I just kind of boiled them down into a document. Again, it's by no means complete, but I think it can give you some ideas of some things that you may want to take a look at in the future when you do that. Good luck to everybody. Thanks. Take care.